Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. It is your boy Jay Butter Smooth, and today we're coming at you with a little more class tuning coming in March 31st. That'd be Tuesday, the next reset. Some more tuning changes coming in. Let's see what we got. All right, starting us off strong here. Death Knight Frost. All damage dealt increased by 4%, but not applied to PvP combat. Druid Feral. All damage dealt increased by 3%, not applied to PvP. Frantic Frenzy damage reduced by 8%, not applied to PvP. Feral has been performing very strong in Mythic Plus, so I can see that being the case. Hunter, Beast Mastery. Beast Mastery. All damage dealt increased by 4%, not applied to PvP. Survival. All damage dealt increased by 4%. And that does apply to PvP. Oh boy, that boomstick's going to be hitting hard. Mage, Arcane, Burden Power now increases Arcane Blast damage by 25%, was 5. Wow, big buff. And Arcane Pulse damage by 50% was 5. So pretty big. Arcane has been underperforming, so I can definitely see it. The developers want to get it up in the front. Make it competitive with the other two specs. It is my personal favorite of the specs as well. Priest, Shadow. Shadow Word Death has been lacking in damage, even in execute range. So we're significantly increasing its damage to correct this. To increase damage in multi-target situations, we're targeting some AoE only sources and shifting some power from some single target sources of damage to shadowy apparition damage. Shadow Word Death damage increased by 80%. Mind Blast and Void damage reduced by 10%. Shadow Apparition and Void Apparition damage increased by 35%, and Spectral Horrors now increases Shadowy Apparition damage against target affected by Shadow Word Madness by 30 was 50. Slight nerf. Psychic Link causes direct damage spells to inflict 25% of their damage to all targets afflicted by Vampiric Touch. Was 20. Little buff. Void Spike from Things and Beyond now deals 25% additional damage to secondary targets. Mind Seer and Void Lashers now deal 25% additional damage. So it looks like Shadow Priest is getting their damage thrown around a little bit more rather than focusing on just that one thing, right? Warrior, Arms. Oh boy. Developer, Arms single target damage remains lower than intended, particularly Execute. I agree. Execute damage increased by 20%, does not affect PvP. Dang it! Overpower damage increased by 10%, does not affect PvP. I wish it did, but I'm actually playing Prot in PvE, so no big deal. PvP changes. Marksmanship. Thank the Lord. I know some of you guys are sad out there, but my Lord, if you play a leather class, you know how it feels. Marksmanship is a burst outlier, so we're reducing the power of aim shot and increasing sustained damage from other primary damage sources to keep it feeling powerful while reducing the peak of its burst. Aim shot damage reduced by 10% in PvP. Kill shot and black arrow damage increased by 15% in PvP combat. Rapid fire damage increased by 15% in PvP combat. Is a rapid fire meta coming back? But I'm happy to see this. Obviously, no one likes getting 70% of their HP taken from 40 yards. I know some of your marksmanship hunters aren't out there, but I personally enjoy being able to do damage all the time, not just a little small portion of the time. That's how I prefer to play. Druid, Resto. A substantial buff is needed to help restoration. We've been struggling to keep up in healing throughput as well as defensively. All healing increased by 8%, regrowth healing increased by 40% in PvP, Swiftman increased by 25% in PvP, and Bark Spenders now reduced damage taken by 30% in PvP, was 20. I'm definitely glad Resto's getting some love. I've been personally rolling all over them, playing Outlaw Rogue. They can just do nothing about it. It's kind of sad. Mage, Arcane. Arcanosphere damage has fallen behind other sources in Midnight. We're also buffing Sun Fury in all gameplay to make it more competitive with Spellslinger. Arcanosphere damage increased by 250%. Are y'all about to get one shot by Arcanosphere again? Looking forward to it. Developer's notes. Fire Mage has a strong burst during combustion, which has gotten a bit too strong. Agreed. We're aiming to reduce power in a window by adjusting talents that are propping up damage during combustion, otherwise are looking to keep sustained damage in a similar state. Each cycle fire now increases fire damage by 2%, was 4. Burn It All now increases spell damage by 5 during combustion, and PvP was 10. So a little nerfs to fire, but fire has been overperforming, I would say. Very strong. Monk. Please let it be good nerfs. Please. Mistweavers to continue to be a step above all other healers this season. With strong sustained healing in addition to having strong cooldowns more frequently than other healers, these adjustments target some of these cooldowns. All healing reduced by 4% in PvP combat. Conduit of the Celestials, Heart of the Jade Serpent now causes Thunder Focus Tea to increase the recovery rate of Renewing Mist and Rising Sun Kick, Life Cocoon, and Thunder Focus Tea by 30% for 8 seconds. In PvP was 75. Good. Conduit Celestials. Celestial Conduit healing reduced by 50% in PvP combat. Good. Now that I'm back. Windwalker. Developer's notes. We feel that Windwalker's burst windows are too difficult to react to, so we're reducing the damage to Zenith Stomp and Rushing Wind Kick while adding some damage to Fist of Fury, which has felt less impactful this season. Additionally, it's not uncommon to die through Touch of Karma. That is very true. So we're increasing the amount of damage it absorbs to increase its effectiveness as a survival tool. Zenith Stomp damage reduced by 25% in PvP. Rushing Wind Kick reduced by 15% in addition to the nerf it had a week or two ago in PvP. Fist of Fury damage increased by 15% in PvP, and Touch of Karma now absorbs 20% more damage in PvP. I play Monk a lot, main it in PvP a lot. I can honestly see it. Windwalker is one-shotting, and it's leagues above my Outlaw Rogue and Arms Warrior. Leagues. So much better. So I understand the nerfs, so we'll see how it performs. I'm looking forward to trying it out. Paladin developers notes, we're looking to reduce burst damage to target at low health for all Paladin specializations, which is mainly caused by Vengeful Wrath. Additionally, Blessing of Spell Warding has been a powerful spell since it was introduced, with very few counters and works against most specializations, which can feel oppressive to play against. You don't say. We're reducing its duration in PvP so it can remain a powerful defensive. Vengeful Wrath now increases Hammer Wrath damage by 20% based on the target's health was 50. Blessing of Spell Warding damage duration reduces 6 seconds in PvP was 10. Oh, good. Holy needs some nerfs too. After recent tuning and general Paladin changes here, Holy's in a good spot. This increases the power of major sources healing from Herald of the Sun. Should be sure of the viability of the hero tree. It's not as bad as Mistweaver, so it's fine. Herald of the Sun, Internal Flame increased by 20% in PvP. Prot, all damage reduced by 10% in PvP. And Ret, we're looking at more punch finishers to the Ret, which have felt weak this season, so we're increasing the damage of Final Verdict to achieve that. We're also increasing the damage of Dawnlight to increase the viability of Herald of the Sun hero talents. Templar's Verdict and Final Verdict damage increased by 25% in PvP. Herald of the Sun Dawnlight damage increased by 30% in PvP. Rogue, here we go. Subtleties continue to be a strong asset to the team. With frequent bursts of strong crown control, we're bringing down some of its potential bursts with these changes to keep their power level more in line relative to their overall kit. Death Perception effect now increases finish damage by 3%, was 5. Okay, it's a slap on that's nothing. And replicating shadow bonus damage for shadow clones now reduced to 5% in PvP combat, was 15. Okay, so they kind of got a slap on the wrist. Looks like Subs is kind of getting away with it again, but that's a little nerf to Shadow or Secret Technique, so we'll see how it goes. Shaman. We're increasing the damage to some Shaman PvP talents that have fallen behind and other sources of damage. We'd like Lightning Lasso to feel worth fully challenging to try to interrupt for Electrocute to be a noticeable effect when purging enemies. Lightning Lasso damage increased by 450%. Electrocute damage increased by 35%. Elemental. Farseer all ancestor healing increased by 20%. Enhancement. We feel enhancement is in a good place after last week's tuning. Enhancement has outlier burst potential with Tempest, so we're toning it down. So it's easier to react to in its burst. Stormbringer, Tempest damage reduced by 15%. Very surprised I didn't buff some of the fillers on top of doing that, because as it stands, that's all enhancement shamans can do. And they can already get disarmed and completely CC'd and shut down. Where you have sub-rogues and marksmanship hunters 100-0ing you, one from 40 yards and one in a 3-second cheap shot. So interesting choice. We're targeting a buff to Farseer this week. Its healing has been behind, and we're aiming to increase its viability compared to Totemic. Farseer, all ancestor healing increased by 20%. Farseer Elemental Reverb now increases Riptide healing by 25%, was 10. So nice buffs to Resto, trying to get everyone up in line with that Mistweaver Monk, Holy Paladin life. Arms Warrior buffs Arms Warrior in PvP. Arms can sometimes struggle to connect, so we're making a change of battle stance that with the mobility against slows and root effects. Oh my lord. Additionally, we're increasing the power of Ignore Pain, so it feels more worthwhile to use when trying to survive. Battle stance reduces the duration of movement and parrying effects by 25%. Was 10. Wow, that's awesome. Love that. Ignore Pain absorption increased by 20% in PvP. Okay, good changes. Some quality of life changes to Arms Warrior. Fury. Damage is in a good state for Mountain Thane. There's some potential for bursts from Bloodthirst that we're looking to rein in. We're also increasing damage from Execute to increase the viability of Slayer hero talents. Execute damage increased by 20%. How come they got an Execute buff? What the? Mountain Thane, Burst of Power now increases the damage of Bloodthirst by 15%, was 35. So a little nerf. So okay, a little give and take, right? But overall, some pretty solid changes. Some nerfs where they need to be. I don't think Sub-Rogue got hit hard enough. I think they need a little bit more. I don't want them to be terrible, but they are complete outliers. The best melee in the game right now. Rhett being as close second, in my opinion. Marksman, I think I got some good changes. Looking forward to it. Windwalker, honestly, this may be a little much, but we'll see. I mean, it may feel completely fine. May just be in line and require some actual big break play because that's how it goes. Windwalker Monk's supposed to be kind of a back and forth class anyway. But overall, some solid changes. I'm loving the consistent tuning. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. And have me keep up with these changes for you guys and get them out as soon as I see them. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Most importantly, tell someone you love them. Peace, guys.